Hello, Connective. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Subscribe, comment, and like without smashing anything, and let's get into this energy. This is a collective reading for Leo. Leo, we've already gotten your overlying and underlying energies for this one from the Akashic and the Universal Law deck. Doesn't really matter at this point what comes out. There's a lot here on the table that's not really mutable. It is no matter what. It exists, and so it is. And whatever else comes out from here on in is just going to be, circumstances, little indications as far as maybe whether or not this is your reading, or just little details about, the bigger picture of what this underlying and overlying story is. So as soon as we get the energy oracle cards to come out, we'll look at the overlying and underlying energy. For the overlying energy for the Akashic deck, I got 4 cards for you, Leo. And then for the overlying energy from the Universal Law deck, we got 1 card. And then for the underlying energy from the Akashic deck, we got 3 cards. And the underlying energy from the Universal Law deck, we got 1 card. And at first I was like thinking that's too many cards. Well, they fell out and I was like, no. And I flipped them over and I got this like immediate story. And I can't even begin to tell you like just how clear it was. So we're going to get into it. Apparently this energy oracle doesn't want to jump. So I really like it to jump because this is already such a definite story. I would like the cards to fly out of the deck, frankly. But we'll go one more time, and if okay, then I'm gonna pull some. I'm just gonna pull some. I don't even know how many right now. So yeah, I want to get into this because I'm actually excited to do this reading. I'm on a little bit of a time constraint, so I don't really want it to go over, but it could. Now, what was that moved? Okay. And then underneath. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's do the overlying energy. All right. So everything ties together. So I'm going to do my best to tie all the cards together that tie together without making it take too long before we get to these energy cards here. But this is like, I want to say a future situation. For some people, could have already happened and you'll totally recognize this. But for the most part, I'm getting this as this oncoming energy. Okay. So first of all, in the overlying energy out of the Akashic deck, we got Archangel Michael, right? So just straight up like Archangel Michael. And usually I pick this up as like a persona. It's like you or somebody else is coming to you. This to me is Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is standing over you in every aspect of what is going on here. I would even hazard to say that he's like an orchestrator of it, okay? If not him, could be another angel, all right? So then for the overlying energy still, we have setting your course, so the 3 of Scrolls. So this is kind of like, goes with this 7 of Roses here, which is the journey, right? So Archangel Michael is like overseeing this journey. And in this journey, you're supposed to set your course, right? So then we have this fated meeting, which to me sometimes comes off as like, people coming or a person coming, or it can be a romantic relationship or something that is supposed to happen, it has to be like a situation, like almost like in a meeting type of way. Something has to meet or come together. Like this is how I picked this card up. So for this card, I am picking this up as a romantic relationship. I mean, we clearly do have like this couple down here, and then it's basically like we just signed this up in heaven and now it's happening kind of a thing. Okay. I mean, that's how this card is always meant to be read. And that's exactly how I'm reading it right now. Okay. And then we have the law of mentalism, which is get clarity on your core values and commit to what matters. Now, why is this card just as important as every other card? Well, because here it's this set your course is here, and a lot of times this set your course card to me is like set your course. But interestingly enough, this set your course, this card is looking at the journey card, right? And these fated meeting people are looking at each other. It doesn't matter which couple you look at, right? And then you have this law of mentalism, which is this person looking into like this glass, like they're holding this glass and you can see their reflection in this glass. It's like they're kind of holding up a mirror, right? And this is kind of telling me that the journey, like when you set your course, it doesn't even really matter where you set your course. This fated meeting is going to happen. It doesn't matter. It's not where you're going. The fact is that you need to figure out what you want before you can get there. Because the thing is that what you want is going to be coming to you. So would you know it if you saw it? If you didn't figure out what you wanted, you just did nothing, and this person came to you, would you know that you wanted that? It's kind of like what we say when we say, you go through something negative so that you can realize that you don't like that. You want the opposite. You want something positive. It's like never having peace in your house and then realizing that you just want peace. I mean, if you never had no peace, then how would you know what peace was, right? Or how would you be able to identify it if you did have it? So this group of cards right here is saying that Archangel is standing over, not just the fated meeting, but your journey, and that it doesn't matter where you set your course, it matters what you want. You have to figure that out. You don't 100% know, even if you think you do, right? So then this is the underlying energy. So this is who's coming towards you. Now, this is the King of Forces, but this could be a man or a woman, or it could be anybody that identifies as anything. The point is the energy of this card, and we'll get back to that. So then we have the Two of Scrolls here, which is two worlds. Now, a lot of times this card, the meaning is like the difference between the 3D and 5D and like toggling back and forth or being stuck in between, the two worlds. And it's coming out a little bit like that, just a tiny bit. It's coming out more in that aspect as like a higher and lower vibration of energy kind of thing, which is the same thing. 3D is a lower vibration and 5D is a higher vibration. But this card is representing to me like the vibrations themselves, okay? And the fact that they are both present in this card, okay? And then this is the Six of Roses, which is the War of the Roses. Now, the funny thing is before these cards have come out together and it's kind of been like, this guy is going through this terrible breakup, which true, it is coming out that way. But let's get to the last card before we talk about these four cards together. This is the Law of Divinity. Within you is the same source that created the entire universe. So to me, this is talking about the 5D. It's the creator part of us, the part of us that is always manifesting, and that's how we end up creating things, to bring to us that we don't want. But more importantly, the 5D part, the word divinity, the 5D part of this situation that these two worlds happen to be part of, right? If you kind of look at it like this man, so that War of the Roses, this battlefield is down here. I mean, it's a battlefield. They're not actually fighting on this card. They're kind of like at a standoff. They're kind of like just facing each other, ready to do battle. But this guy right here, the King of Forces, is in this field with a bunch of animals that don't get along. All these animals should be fighting, but they're all just laying around, in peace, peacefully. It's kind of like talking about, his like quiet power of being able to tame these animals kind of thing. That not so much in his power of taming. He does have a quiet power, but that's not necessarily what we're talking about here. To me, it's his like gentle nature of being able to be around all these animals and be just as peaceful as them, and to have them be around him and trust him enough to be peaceful around him. So to me, this is his peaceful nature, right? But because he's of two worlds in it right now, or in the recent past, he's been exposed to something entirely different, something that he isn't of, and he's gone through hell over it. And this card is a reinforcement of who he is inside and how he can't deal with that. Remember, he or she, but it is more of like a masculine nature in the way of like, someone who cares for another in like a protective way, someone who's strong, who's sturdy in their support of others. Okay. And so this thing that this person has gone through, they were already with this person with integrity, but now even more because they've gone through this other world, this constant war, that they've really realized what part of them is the part that wants that peace, what part of them is the part that wants to nurture, that wants to have a worthwhile relationship, something that is, blessed by a higher source, right? And then we have these cards. So the one that came out by itself was the thinking woman, right? Okay, so we always say, could be a man, could be a woman, could be anyone who identifies in anything. The thinking part is the part of the card that we pay attention to. Sometimes it comes off as thinking, sometimes it comes off as overthinking. Now, I just got this notion that I didn't have when I first saw that card, that it's a possibility that if some of you know, if you guys know that this is your story already before I even go forward, because you just know something is coming, like something about your story is coming, if that makes sense to you, you know who you are, then just know that, again, these other cards aren't particular of your situation necessarily unless they resonate, because not everybody would know that someone is coming. If you happen to know that someone is coming in this form, either the person is like this or you know that that person has been through something to get to you. Because honestly, and I'm going to say it because again, some of you know what I'm talking about. I feel like this person, this war that they went through, they were with this person that was like kind of destined for them, and that person screwed it up. And now its souls have gotten together and decided that they're going to do something else, and this is what they're going to do. Either you had another partner that screwed it up, and this person's partner screwed it up, and now you're going to be of the same vibration and you're going to come together. Or it could just be that this other person screwed it up and this person is going to land right in your lap. You don't even have to do anything. I don't recommend that you not do anything, but we'll get to that. But you don't have to do anything. This is, and so it is. What's above is so below. So we're going to get back to that. So adjacent possibilities, this is kind of like what I'm talking about. This is almost like a twin flame swap out, right? Like it's almost like, you didn't want to do this. You didn't want to do that. Well, these two can get along and they're of the same vibration and they want the same thing. So see you later, you two, go with your karmics. These two, congratulations. It's almost like there's just the cold-hearted selection of, you want to make that decision? Okay, and it's not even about like the universe making it or heaven making it. This person screwed up. They made their own decision. They screwed it up. They took somebody that they had who was caring and legitimate, somebody who wanted to take care of them, who loved them, who would have been loyal forever, and they screwed it up. They did something major. These cards don't really say what it is except for this guy. They might have just been mean or taken somebody for granted or, not cared what anybody said when they asked, for them to do certain things. Please don't do this, and it could have just been like that. It could have just been this heartless, saying heartless. I have 3. Okay, so let's do the other doors. So we also have the door to spirit. So a lot of times, again, 3D, this is what we're going towards. A lot of times when I talk about having better relationships, I'm talking about that like 3D portion of it again, or that 5D portion of it. The 3D portion of relationships a lot of times can be like this. People tend to bicker about stuff that may or may not be important and then make it super important and then argue with each other to the point where they're fighting because they can't like actually talk it out, or somebody can't, back down because the thing that they're arguing about is so important that they have to literally stand toe to toe, right? Some people aren't like that. Even if they do feel the need to be heard, they don't feel the need to fight about it. The escalating a conversation where people aren't getting along, fighting is not a proper escalation. There's other ways to escalate that it's not. Fighting is the inability to deal with your emotions because you can't talk it out, like in that particular situation. Not necessarily overall, but again, putting the emphasis on the fact that whoever is causing the fighting is doing it on purpose. They're making a conscious decision. You know, we're getting into that day and age now where people are not going to be making excuses for people who do not want to control their behavior anymore. It's not like, oh, they can't control their behavior. It's simply that they don't want to. So we have fourth chakra Archangel Raphael on the table. So heart chakra on the table, right? And then we have the woman holding a heart. So again, could be a man, could be a woman, could be holding anything. I'm going to say holding a heart because we also have the woman holding a coin. So could be a man, could be a woman holding a coin, definitely. Okay, so we're actually going to put those right next to each other. This is also telling me that this person that's coming in is not only bringing like stability and love, they're bringing, you know, money. Stability meaning emotional security, not monetary. But now we have monetary on the table. And then, so we also have balance. So a lot of times this is because we're coming from something in the past. Sometimes this is like our reward. But again, if two people screwed up, it's just the coming together of new plans, right? Or coming together of an old plan that's not working. So balance. This is also the balance of the masculine and the feminine energies, right? So we also have rest and rejuvenation. This might have taken a while for some of you. Whatever you went through in the past, you might have gone through it a long time ago, and you might have deserved this person a long time ago. But because, you know, other people were involved in this situation, it took as long as it took. And there's a good possibility that you might have needed to heal before this person was actually able to come in. Again, like I said, you don't have to do anything for this to happen, but if you don't do anything, if you don't heal from previous stuff, and hopefully Alice will tell us what kind of previous stuff we're talking about, this person will leave you. This is a fated meeting, but this isn't necessarily like, you know, destined to stay together. This person has the qualities, but you have to heal, and they might have to heal too from this particular situation. It depends. Some people are really good about getting through things, you know, especially when things are like whack, you know, just realizing that that person this and I did that right and da-da-da. I maybe could have done this better. You know, people who just automatically process and heal. This person could be one of those people. You could be one of those people. If you're not one of those people, then I would say watch that. And you guys could still work on it together if somebody gets triggered, but don't bring this stuff into that relationship. That's not going to help you out. As far as I'm concerned, I'm reading that as toxicity right now. And then you have the door to value. So door to value, so adjacent possibilities, which is a bunch of doors. Door to spirit, which we're talking about like a higher, you know, like a 5D kind of relationship with enough stuff to like not have to worry about your security in the 3D. And then we have indecision. What's going on there? I mean, if some of you don't know that this is coming towards you, might not be sure, right? There could be trust issues. This could be trust issues. And you might be okay. You might be like, you know what, I know I have trust issues because of this or that. But, you know, the trust issues might just not just be in a relationship capacity. The trust issues could be everywhere, in everything. And that might be something that you have to work on. Ugh, those aren't, we're not taking those. Because if you allow the distrust to stay, even if you got it out of your relationships with, again, if you had experience with this, it's a little harder to do sometimes, this hostilities card. There's a possibility that it might creep back in because you still have trust issues. People start doing new stuff, you start bringing your trust issues in, you know? Get out a little bit out of your comfort zone. People had cheated on you in the past or something, and then someone decides they want to potentially start a business with someone that's, you know, of the opposite sex, and you're kind of like, am I being replaced? One more time. These cards are coming out really strange. I see becoming braver on the table. That kind of tells me too that some of you guys might still be having triggers when you meet this person. Sometimes we don't realize what our triggers are. We might not know that we have them, but when we know that we have them, sometimes I think we might be afraid to like have a relationship because we don't want other people to see those triggers. You know, not necessarily realizing that when we are triggered, we could kind of keep it to ourselves and process it ourselves. We could talk about it or whatever, but we don't have to like work our crap out on other people kind of thing. It's just a thought. We have becoming braver, resilience, experience, growing stronger, fresh perspective. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's a possibility that you might have healed all you've been able to heal by yourself. This person might come in and show you like what they do to heal when they get through stuff. This is a possibility. We got do not drink poison. Do not do things that you know are bad for you. So this card is always like that you know are bad for you. It's not like don't do things that are bad for you. It's like when you know it's not bad for you. This is releasing the toxicity, poison. We have believe, strange encounters. So this is kind of like believing that your situation can change for the better. Like kind of like after what you've been through, like even if somebody told you that it was like protected by God, it would be kind of hard to like swallow that. You'd almost have to experience to go, oh, that's what they meant. I did have that. I got that. You know, maybe. Again, you know, if you've never seen like the other side of that, if you didn't need to become braver from something, or you didn't need to like walk away from something, how would you know that you had it when it came? How would you know? If you hadn't been met with abuse, how would you know somebody who's not abusive, who's the total opposite? How would you know? And then we have never jam today, promises that never come to be, and empty words, not living in the now. This is just, to me, more of that stuff that's coming from the hostilities. This is investigate, look closely, ask questions, think before acting. So let's pull the moons and see who else might be involved in this with you. Okay. So that's full moon in Virgo, take inspired action. Inspired action. So in this situation, I was thinking, wow, what do they have to move on? You know, I mean, we're talked about, you know, not executing like with the hostilities and like not purposely like drinking poison kind of thing. We were talking about, you know, possibly waiting to be triggered to like solve some of our stuff, especially if we've been working on our stuff already and there's stuff that we don't know is in there. I mean, that's a huge possibility. But then it occurred to me the word inspired. So a lot of times people can move like out of fear or some other emotion. Maybe they're impatient. They don't, you know, they're like, well, I might as well do, you know, I have to do something. This is saying that when you do move, you know, because I'm telling you this person's coming at you or towards you, but I don't know who else is coming towards you or at you. So I'm not telling you to just jump on the first person that comes towards you or at you, right? So, you know, you meet somebody and they're not, you know, that might not be the person. Full moon in Virgo is telling me that when you're inspired, when you're acting, you know, through sheer inspiration, not even, you know, curiosity or, you know, expectation, just, you know, when you tell yourself to move because you got that feeling, you know, and then, and to trust your own intuition as well. And then you have last quarter moon in Aquarius, reflect on your priorities. So now we have it twice. We have the law of mentalism and then reflect on your priorities. So there might be a Virgo or an Aquarius involved. And again, it's reiterating that it doesn't matter where you set your course to go. It's what you want. It has nothing to do with destination. It's preference. Becoming braver is also telling me to be true to yourself about your preference. That indecision card is telling me that you want to choose things that you think others will be accepting of. You want to choose what you want. This is last quarter moon in Leo, lighten up. And we have first quarter moon in Leo, be humble. I'm gonna keep going until I get something other than Leo. Last quarter moon in Libra, make time for self-love. So there might be a Libra involved, there might be a Virgo involved, there might be an Aquarius involved. You want to be humble and lighten up. Lighten up tells me not to take the whole thing so seriously. Again, this is going to happen with or without your help. The real challenge here is to work with the energy as it comes to you, like if you need to heal or something like that, to get through this without too much struggle and without losing anything. Because this is all about gaining. But again, like I can't promise that this person will never leave. Like if you mistreat them, if you bring hostilities into the situation, if you mess stuff up. So don't do that. Just be you and you'll be fine. And don't forget you have all these doors. We need to go to the extended. I need to pull the blind spot. I need to see what else is going on here. But like I said, you know, higher relationship, anything you want. Door to value has money flying through the door, but it also has valuables flying through the door. I say anything you want, and then all these adjacent possibilities, which is anything you want. So Leo, if this is your reading, meet us over at the extended. The link will be in the description. And if not, until we meet again.